On today's episode, we're getting stuck into some pine mushroom foraging, lots of hiking in the rain, hiking in the rain, hiking in the rain, hiking on the sand in the rain, and then getting wet. Going for a spearfish in Victoria and showcasing what it's like to spearfish in Victorian waters with some camping, some cooking, some fire making, and just all round more rain because this is Victoria. Stay tuned, hope you enjoy the episode. There's sun on the other side, I promise. Alright guys, super excited. We are 4 AM. We are very, very early indeed. And we're off on an adventure. A massive, massive adventure. So, we're doing another hike and spear. I'm so stoked. And I'm more stoked than usual because of this hike and spear involves a flight. And it involves a very good friend of mine, and I've never done a hike and spear with somebody else in Australia, so yeah, I'm very excited. So let's go. You can expect everything that you would expect from a typical hike and spear, except for this time me and a very special friend are going, so very bloody excited for it all, to be honest. Just walking to the car, so I've got to drive to the car, drive the car close to the airport, drop the car off, then catch a flight, and then my friend's going to pick me up, and then we're going to head down to a very special place, and then we're going to get wet, and then we're going to smack some fish, and maybe dive for some abs and dive for some crays. This guy is the cray whisperer of the southern seas. It's rumoured he's actually half man, half crayfish, half bluefin tuna. So, yeah. Anybody know who it is yet? Right. Time to get in the car, do some driving. Let's go. Alright, so we've officially touched down. It's a chilly 6 degrees. That gives you a bit of an indicator where we are. You would have known from the YouTube thumbnail and the title of the video anyways. But super excited to catch up with my friend. Has anybody worked out who it is yet? Dylan, the man, the myth, the legend.
The ghost.
The ghost.
I'm here to pick up some paper, some luggage.
Some luggage.
Luggage.
It's a strange Uber driver.
I know.
What are the chances?
We're just constantly, like, even when you set it, you get some extra rain effect.
So we'll be careful of this. Check this. Fly agaric. Not gonna eat him. That looks like something straight out of Mario. Crazy. But what we're after, these guys, pine mushrooms. Which, take the grass off them, try not to dirt them up. Hopefully there's not too many maggots and stuff in them. Man, this is getting me excited. Got a little bit of stuff and damage, but they're grown in the wild. Everything's gonna want to have a crack at them.
Yeah, you can see that the slugs do like them, but you know, it takes a day for them to find them, so.
Oh, good. Cool. Those beauties. And then we'll leave some for nature so that they can continue to reproduce mushrooms. It's just a little bit catchier than 7.8 kilometre road, isn't it?
probably a road difficult to show. No wonder it was so cold.
What kind of weather's this, James?
Typical Melbourne.
Typical Melbourne. This is a beautiful Melbourne winter's day. We've arrived at our parking spot. As you can see, this is probably the most you've ever seen me wrapped up in my life. We got 6 degrees, so it's a bit chilly, and it's going to rain the entire trip, but we're still stoked to just get out there and yeah, have a cracking time. James has just tended into the mushrooms, and then we're going to be rolling out of here. Yeah, going to be wet, but that's what we like doing. How'd you go, James?
Oh, it's a bit wet. Got?
Huh?
How much do you think you've got on?
I reckon not as heavy as usual. I reckon 22.
22.
Yeah, I'm missing 4 kilos of water and I'm missing all the cooking equipment. And just for you guys, I had the task of bringing the stove, and I realised yesterday whilst I was packing that I couldn't fly with gas. So instead of informing James that I couldn't fly with the gas, I just didn't bring a stove and didn't tell him. So
Yeah, secret sauce.
exactly, we're gonna have to make something happen. Improvise, adapt, and yeah, see how we go. Let's get wet all the time. Oh, cormorant. How stunning is that little see-through? Just incredible. So the rain stopped finally. That means that we can get out, hike, dry off a bit, and then get wet again to go get dinner. We've got the pine mushrooms that we're going to cook up with dinner. Maybe we'll go for some fish, maybe we'll go for some abs. Definitely going to try for some crays. Yeah, just enjoy the nature. Got a little bit of swell, but we're going to be on that side, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Happy with that.
I don't like cold water.
So you like a bit of drizzle, is what you're saying?
I like a bit of wet drizzle. I can handle some drizzle in my metal.
Warm drizzle.
Warm drizzle.
A man who enjoys a bit of warm drizzle. It's always funny when you end up like this, because if you just end up chasing after the birds the entire time and all they need to do is just go behind us. Oh, he's going around the back. He's going for it. Alright guys, so yeah, it's definitely still raining. It's a bit cold, a bit wet.
That's alright. Sorry about the splash on the lens. Can't do anything about that until I get out of the rain, or until the rain stops. But it's still beautiful, beautiful bit of coastline. Away we go. That's a wattle bird, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Let's go. Alright, as you can see, we've arrived at our lovely beach. James, not a bad spot.
Yeah, it's my favourite.
Keen to get wet.
We've got our own little private beach and
Alright, so we've already set up camp.
I'm doing a thing.
we've set up camp on the beach. We're both just struggling with motivation, chucking on our dive gear because it's a bit cold and we're wet and we didn't really have a chance to get dry and we're about to get wet again. But we are really quite excited by the viz. I think it's going to be good, which is awesome. And yeah, James, anything to add?
It's going to be an interesting dive.
An interesting dive indeed.
And just like that, it's time to get wet. Haven't actually been dry since we got out of the car, but it's time to get wet. Let's go get a meal. I'm pretty stoked. The viz doesn't look so bad, even though the wind and everything is up. This is a protected little area, so as long as the wind doesn't swing, we're going to have, yeah, hopefully some good diving. Now, this is my first time using a non-roller gun in probably, I want to say 5 years. It's been a while. I grew up on traditional spear guns, but yeah, as soon as I discovered the roller, I was hooked. So this is me shooting a standard spear gun for the first time. I spotted this Bluespot Flathead almost straight away, and yeah, that's what happens when you use somebody else's gun. And I'm kicking myself here. I really should have brought my 85 roller. This guy would have been skull shot for sure. I couldn't believe my luck though. He gave us another opportunity on a shot of him. Now, spending a lot of time flathead hunting up in New South Wales, I find that when they're on the move, they tend to stay on the move. They won't kind of resettle, so really got to just take a shot before they bugger off. But guess what? I stuff it up again. At this rate, I don't know if we're going to have dinner. I am such a bad shot on James's gun. It would take me a couple of shots to dial it in, zero it in, work out where the shot placement is, and then we'll be fine. So we move on. The flathead buggers off into the deep water. He actually got some sense about him, and the next fish we encounter was this goatfish. A good hunting technique for these fish are basically just to stay right on that weed line where the sand meets the weed and just relax. Try not to look at the fish until you're ready to take the shot. I put a shot into it, and it's still just a tad low. Now, goatfish have extremely soft flesh, so you really need to be putting good shots into them, otherwise you're just going to hurt and injure fish. This guy tore off and fled, but luckily he gave me this opportunity where he's just kind of hanging out on the sand, recovering from that shot, I guess, and trying to stay still. Maybe he thought he was camouflaged, but he gives me enough opportunity to get close to him and put a spear in him the second time. This time I get him in the eyes, which, yeah, sorry bud. Quickly rip the gills out. Honestly, bleed all of your fish, always. It makes a hell of a difference for the flavour. You get way more sweetness out of the meat, I find. And yeah, it stops the fish degrading quickly, which is vital on these hike and spear missions when you don't have refrigeration units. Although in saying that, we're in Victoria and it's like 8 degrees outside. So we continue on the dive, and there's just no big fish anywhere. There were a couple of big sweep, but they weren't having anything to do with us. And yeah, I finally settle on this butterfly perch. They are a really, really good eating meat, but they don't grow very big. And yeah, quite often they've got really, really slim fillets on them. So it's a bit wasteful to kill a fish for next to nothing. As you can see, we dive right on into the dark. The sun is setting, the visibility is going, and so is the light. This makes it way more challenging to spearfish. It also makes it a bit like eerie and a bit spooky that all of a sudden some big fish could come out of the water. But it is super, super fun, and I do enjoy it. At this point, I'd lost James. I'm not quite sure where he had dropped behind. He had the camera, so he was obviously off videoing something, but quickly pop my head up and give him a gun flag just to show him exactly where I am so that we can stay as a good buddying system. We do a few more drops like this, and honestly, there's just not much happening at this spot today. You can see a little sweep there, probably 20-25 centimeter sweep. So leave him, and yeah, it's a bit of a shame really. I do get out the torch and start having a look for some crays because of this is Victoria after all. You can see that the rain's started to pick up, so's the wind, and the wind's actually started to swing against us, which isn't good. So yeah, it's got the potential to blow out tomorrow's visibility. But look, we've got the torch going, I'm checking ledges, looking for lobster ability, and it just doesn't turn on like you hope it would. Here you can see a massive stingray, and we've got some butterfly perch. James getting some awesome content for the video. And yeah, this was pretty much the last little experience that we had before we decided to head to get out. It was a bit of a swim, and by the time that we got back it was pitch dark and the wind had picked right up, so there wasn't much time to film, and it was just a case of get ready.
Alright, so we've been out for a dive, mission not super successful, but we got fish. We've got a goatfish and we've got a butterfly perch, which yeah, is enough to feed us both. We'll go for a dive in the morning. I lost the dive torch, annoyingly, but is what it is. And yeah, it's just really hard to perform in like changing light. So the sun was setting. Yeah, it was nice visibility actually, but it was just yeah, the change in light that made it difficult. There was some good sweep that I should have taken the opportunity on, and I didn't. But lesson learned. The water was pretty chilly. Definitely my toes are a bit fresh in 1.5mm socks. Definitely looking forward to getting warm and maybe having a fire, trying to warm up these toes before bed. But definitely going to cook and eat these. And we've got the mushrooms from earlier, so fish, mushrooms and some rice. It's not bad at all. And we've got obviously the pine mushrooms from earlier, so we'll just do fish, pine mushrooms and wraps, or fish, pine mushrooms and rice. Yeah, looking forward to this. This is going to be a good cook up.
Yeah, you showed that stick.
Oh yeah, I'm the boss. This is fire school.
Feel like you've got some action. What are your thoughts?
Struggling to get a real fire going here because it keeps raining, but guess what? We've done it and we've got fire, which is awesome. Sorry that yeah, we're not filming a whole heap of like how the fire's made. We've actually moved our tent because of the wind. Yeah, it's all happening here. It's hard to do everything at once, but yeah, we're getting there. So the coals are almost ready and we're going to get cooking with the fish. Absolutely devastated about the flatty. Yeah, just using somebody else's gun. Really, really hard. Wish I had my Aimrite 85 roller, and I definitely would have missed that flatty once, let alone twice. But hey, we've still got fish, and we've got goatfish, which is one of my favourite fish in the sea, so I'm stoked. I'm wearing my short shorts, not just nude, but we've got the butterfly perch fillets going on top of the pine mushrooms. They've been cooking away in butter, and then we've got the goatfish little fillets and little fish, but honestly you can see in the pan combined, all this together plus we're going to have a big feed. I'll actually do that skin down. That flame's awesome on my hand.
No, I think this is it.
We've due like a decent amount of rain that's going to set in for the night, so we are really trying to cook this rice quickly, and so we can retreat into our tent before the big rain comes. So fingers crossed, but we're trying.
What do you reckon? Are we going to make it?
we've made it this far, and that's a win.
The rain has well and truly kind of come in, although you can't hear it so much. Maybe you can. Got the meal, so we've got pine mushrooms, sushi rice with butterfly, perch and goatee. I'm just grateful to be dry and yeah, finally eating. Let's go. That was just rice. Right, the rice was good. Got good flavour. It was actually really nice rice. And then we got the pine. The pine mushroom's awesome. Very buttery. If you're asking why are we currently on this angle, it's because of the cameras in a shoe as a makeshift tripod, because my bag's outside. And yeah, I don't want to go out and get it. Right, onto the fish. That's a bit of goatee, I believe. That was a bit of goatee. It's quite cold in comparison to the rest of the meal, but it still tastes good. At this stage, it's all just fuel, so we can stay warm and yeah, have energy tomorrow to go out and dive. Hopefully the rain buggers off, and we can go do another dive tomorrow and get onto something else. But James, anything to add? And that's it.
Be good to your mother.
Definitely. So we're going to eat this and yeah, probably call it a night. If anything eventful happens, I'll turn the camera on. But until then, hopefully we get a bit more success tomorrow with tomorrow's dive. Better conditions, less rain, and yeah, bigger fish. Catch up. I just wanted to say, like, I had another bite of the mushroom. The mushrooms are so good.
Yeah.
Wild mushrooms are the best thing on the planet. They're way better than anything you can get in the supermarket. And always, always, always cook your mushrooms in butter, heaps of butter and salt. That is all. That is yum. Alright guys, good morning. So we survived the night. Very, very windy. The tent felt like it was being blown all over the place, and there was decent rain throughout the night. I managed to get a pretty good sleep. James got a pretty good sleep. Both waking up at random intervals. Typically when the rain intensity really picked up and when the wind really picked up, but it is what it is. I don't think we're going to be able to dive today. Yeah. I'm going to try and chuck the drone up finally. There's not been rain for a few hours. We've got a bit of light and yeah, I'll show you camp and everything. But unfortunately no more diving, I think. Unless we can find a quieter spot to get in. It's wild out there. Check this. Getting shots like this for you guys really is the definition of risking it for the biscuit. Very, very strong wind warnings on the drone, and it would refuse to return to home because of the wind warnings. So I decided to fly it, still over the water, just because of, yeah, how epic are these shots. My mind, it makes it worth risking the drone. And if you guys are enjoying these shots and think, wow, like that is epic country, give a thumbs up, drop a comment, help the algorithm, let's go. And I cannot explain how valuable having a drone is for diving. You can see here I can get above the water, I can see what the wind and the swell has done to the water, and that unfortunately there's no visibility. So using a tool like this allows me to basically make a decision whether I'm diving or not. In this circumstance, even with like the constant 45k winds up to like 65k winds, it's just not worth it. So we'll just get some epic content and get out of here. I just want to make a quick shout out to the stabilization of my drone and software for producing shots like this. I promise you it was absolutely blowing a gale. As you can see, I'm wrapped up nice and warm again. This is the most layers you will ever see the wet mammal in. I've got 4 layers on, 2 t-shirts, jumper, and then yeah, there's windbreaker or waterproof. Do you want to see the water? I think I've shown it in the drone shots pretty good. There's my bag. It's a bit wet and a bit sandy. The tide actually came up to this line here, which is very close to where we pitched our tent. Like, look at that to that. Very, very close. And the bottom didn't get wet. But then, this is the reason why we're not spearfishing, right? Look at that. That's just a bit gross. James doing some washing up over there. So unfortunately, that's it for the hike and spear. I look like I'm in like Russia or somewhere with this. Like, it's not super cold, but it is like bloody chilly. Yeah, it's like 6 degrees or something. So after like a night in the tent and that, you just want to be warm, and most of my gear's wet. This waterproof is completely saturated. My shorts are wet, which I've got on, and I've chucked on new socks, but unfortunately my boots were wet, so now they are also wet. So we're all a bit wet. We're not going to bother diving. So we had 2 fish yesterday. Hard work. I think we're going to have to come back under better conditions. You know, if there was a bit of sunshine or something, that would be awesome. But we're going to hike on out, and yeah, still had a super sick day yesterday. Got to enjoy beautiful scenery. Got to see the Wombat, which was super sick. That's the closest I've ever seen a Wombat to the coast, which is really cool. And then yeah, we went out for a dive and got a couple of fish. We were hoping for bigger fish and better fish, but like, make do with what you can make do. This is quite a hard challenge to fly down to Melbourne in the same day, like get all the way out here and then get hiking, wind, the rain, like 45k winds. Yeah, make the most of it. So I'm going to help James pack up, and we're going to get rolling. Let's go. How fun. As you can see, not the easiest task in the world. Woo! The wind is up. Sure. Yeah.
And how typical is that? As we approach the car, the weather just opens up with a blue sky. The swell and the wind's still there, definitely, but yeah, it's a nice magical walk home to dry us off. Just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's watching, and an even bigger thank you to James for coming on the trip even though the conditions were crap. We might have to do one in New South Wales with some proper weather. What do you reckon?
So that's it. We are done and dusted. What a trip. Look, we knew we were going to get wet from the very get-go. We knew it was going to be incredibly windy from the get-go. We still came out here. We still made the most of the opportunity and had an absolute blast in nature. It's important to show these kinds of trips, I think, because of, yeah, the weather's not always going to be perfect and pristine and everything like that. But that shouldn't stop you from getting out there and enjoying what is incredible nature and incredible scenery, and yeah, good times with good mates. So definitely get out there and do it. I'm going to post a gear setup next. I've got a few more trips coming in the next couple of weeks, and including an international trip. Nice getting a goatee, one of my favourite fish. Gutted on the flatty, but yeah, maybe should have brought my own gun. Lesson for next time. The future trips, I'll definitely be taking my own gun. And yeah, I'm still going to make the most of it, even if it's windy and rainy like this. Even if we only get one dive in the 2 days, it's still been worth it for me. So I've had a blast, James has had a blast. Awesome. Time to go back to Sydney. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, do all the YouTubey stuff, and yeah, stay wet, stay fed, guys. Catch ya.